Trump is pursuing up to $230 million from the Department of Justice for alleged misconduct in past investigations, raising conflict of interest concerns since the government he now leads would approve it.
You know, we've said before,
yes,
that Trump does not conceal his corruption, right?
Right.
It's all right out in front. He smashes it right out in our face for the simple reason that in 50 plus years as a business person and politician, he has never, ever been held accountable for anything.
That's
he
crazy.
Always gets away with things that would have destroyed any other political figure and would have landed most people in jail.
How does he do it? I don't even get it.
Some say he has a pact with the devil. That's about as good an explanation as one could possibly come up with. He does it because he has borrowed from the playbook of the notorious red-baiting, civil liberties violating Senator Joseph McCarthy and his equally culpable lawyer, Roy Cohn. Way back in the early 1970s, Donald Trump had his first clash with the law when the U.S. Department of Justice found that he had violated the Fair Housing Act by discriminating against black people in New York City in his real estate company. And you know who he hired as his lawyer, Sam?
Tell me.
Roy Cohn, Joe McCarthy's lawyer. And Cohen taught him the way in which you deal with all of these legal troubles, right? And Trump has followed that playbook. Delay, obstruct, deflect, attack, admit nothing. And what happened was, over time, all these tactics worked. There was never a resolution. And ultimately, the Justice Department dropped the case. And that same strategy, delay, obstruct, deflect, attack, admit nothing over the next 50 years has served Trump so well. But he does seem to have this magical quality. They called Ronald Reagan the Teflon president. Well, if Ronald Reagan was the Teflon president, then Donald Trump is the triple-coated Teflon president.
Seriously.
So $230 million.
Come on. This has got to be a joke, right? I'm so sick of, all these corrupt things Trump does, and then he just gets away with them. This one's got to be a joke, right? Or is it real? It's
a $230 million joke. If it's a joke, it's real. Here's what he's claiming. He's claiming damages, including punitive damages, which are most of what he's claiming, or at least a good bit of it, which, according to experts, are forbidden under the statute. He can't claim them. But you know what? Who enforces this, Sam?
His Department of Justice.
His own Department of Justice. And the two officials most responsible for it are Todd Blanche, you know who he is?
His former
Deputy Attorney General.
But his former personal attorney.
Former personal attorney. And then the associate director of the Justice Department, a former defense attorney for another person charged in one of the indictments related to Donald Trump. So it's not exactly fair and impartial officials. Plus, who do they answer to ultimately?
DJT.
Right. And he's even admitted it's very strange that, I have the final say about this payment.
It's so corrupt. Even he's having sort of second thoughts about it. He's he's like, wait, is this real? This is so corrupt.
Yeah, so strange, so corrupt. Oh my God, even for me, the ultimate authority on corruption. All right, here's what he's claiming. He's claiming damages from the Russia investigation.
Russia.
Well, when did the Russia investigation take place? Under what president?
Donald J. Trump.
And who appointed Robert Mueller as special counsel to investigate?
Jeff Sessions?
No.
I don't remember who it was.
The Associate Attorney General, Rob Rosenstein, appointed by Trump in Donald Trump's own Department of justice.
So then, in that logic, Trump should pay himself $230 million. Because the line of appointments leads right back to him.
Yes, of course. And as we know, the Mueller investigation couldn't have been easier on Donald Trump.
Seriously.
Right? He didn't even subpoena Trump for an interview. He let him answer things in writing. And what did Trump say in almost every answer?
No comment.
No, I don't recall.
Oh.
I don't remember. Didn't interview Don Trump Jr. He found 9 instances of obstruction of justice, approximately, but didn't recommend prosecution for it. It couldn't have been easier on Donald Trump, and yet he's claiming damages. The other thing, the big thing he's claiming is damages from the search of Mar-a-Lago and the indictment. He's saying Merrick Garland and the Attorney General and Director of the FBI, Chris Wray, should never have approved a raid and subsequent indictment of President Donald Trump because the well-established protocol with former U.S. presidents is to use non-enforcement means to obtain records of the United States. Guess what?
What?
They spent a year or so using non-enforcement means, right? Trying desperately to get Donald Trump to return the sensitive national security documents and failed. And in fact, Donald Trump's lawyer even lied, saying they had returned them all when they hadn't. And who signed off on this search of Trump's home? A judge.
A judge.
It was a totally legal search. Didn't violate any of Donald Trump's rights. No one but Donald Trump would even begin to have a claim against a perfectly legal search and a perfectly legal indictment supported by an overwhelming plethora of facts. And yet he's claiming from these 2 episodes he should be getting $230 million in compensation. Let's put that in perspective.
Okay, let's
Here's
do
what
that.
the media has reported.
Okay, the media.
Compare the $230 million. It's a number that far surpasses the $138.7 million settlement made to all the victims of convicted sex abuser Larry Nassar, the coach or the doctor who had abused so many victims. 138.7 to all of them who suffered real harm, real damage.
Yeah, extreme trauma.
Extreme trauma. It exceeds the $144.4 million made to the families of victims in the Sutherland Springs mass shooting in Texas. Families of people who were shot down and killed. All of them, just a fraction of what Trump is claiming.
The rich just get this. Look, we've talked about this before. This seems to just be how our system works. The rich get richer. The powerful can just do whatever they want and keep getting away with it and keep collecting checks.
Here's another perspective. Vastly exceeds the $88 million settlement made to all the families of victims in the Mother Emanuel church shooting in Charleston, South Carolina. These are people who suffered severe, extreme damages.
And trauma.
And trauma. And there's a whole class of them. And taken together in each of these instances, they didn't come close to the $230 million that Donald Trump is claiming. And, of course, Trump has also tried to distance himself, just like he tried to distance himself from the 2025 report and then implement it once he became president. He says, quote, "I don't know about the numbers. I don't even talk about them. All I know is that they owe me a lot of money, but I'm not looking for money." Oh, he's so charitable. Yeah. I'm not looking for money. I'd give it to charity or something, right? What do we know about his charity? It was dissolved, his famous Trump charity, because it was self-serving to benefit Donald Trump and not the recipients of tragedy. The recipients of charity.
Right.
Right.
Who could be the victims of tragedy also.
Right. According to Pace University law professor Bernard L. Gershman, quote, "The ethical conflict is so basic and fundamental, you don't need a law professor to explain it." Another authority in the field said, the drafters, the Federal Tort Claims Act, the act under which he's seeking this money, could never, in their wildest dreams, have contemplated the head of the executive branch seeking money from an agency that reports directly to him. Authorities have called this brazen for someone whose corruption has already been incredibly brazen. Another authority said, with millions of Americans on the cusp of losing their health insurance and millions more struggling to make ends meet, it seems grotesque that a billionaire president would make taxpayers pay for his legal expenses in cases that by no stretch of the imagination can rightly be characterized as malicious. At the same time all this came out, there was another report saying that the American debt reached a milestone of $38 trillion and was accelerating with particular speed. Guess what? Under what president?
Donald J. Trump.
Exactly. So with all this debt, all this deficit that he's blowing a big hole in, he's perfectly happy to add $230 million more to the debt to line his own pockets at the expense of every American taxpayer.
Now, let me ask you a question. You mentioned some sort of tort or something. What is this? Because he's not suing the Department of Justice. This isn't a legal case, right?
Right. If it's called the Federal Tort Claims Act, and it goes directly to the Department of Justice. It's not a lawsuit. It doesn't have to be approved by the courts. It just has to be approved, as we pointed out, by the deputy or associate attorney general, both of whom are either former Trump lawyers or lawyers for an associate of Trump charged in one of the incidents that he was involved in. Now, if they don't approve it, he could go to the courts. But if they do approve it, that's the end. There's no recourse.
So they just write him a check that he just puts in his pocket and walks to the bank with.
Right, assuming they do this. And
these rich guys, how do we keep letting these rich guys get away with this kind of stuff?
Right.
This billionaire gets handed a $230 million check.
While ordinary people can't find jobs, are losing their health insurance, are getting fired from the government.
It's just crazy.
Losing their food stamps, are in peril of their Social Security. Ordinary people who depend on this, but this billionaire, corruptly is claiming to get hundreds of billions.
Frustrating. Now, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're actually going to award him this money?
Before I answer that, I'll give you one more nuance on this. According to these authorities that I've been quoting, they don't have to tell you.
They don't even have to tell us?
They don't have to publicize this.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. I mean, this would be perhaps the most brazen act of corruption, personal corruption, not political corruption, not ideological corruption like Watergate or Iran-Contra, but direct monetary corruption by a president, not by, some other official. It would be the worst act of personal monetary corruption by a president, by far, in the history of the country. I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, obviously, there's always a lot of pressure to do what Trump wants. Have Trump-appointed officials ever failed to do what Trump wants?
Well, not his loyalists. There have been some that he's appointed that have
previously.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, now these are all loyalists.
That's
all right,
what I'm saying.
Let me amend that. Has a Trump-appointed loyalist?
No.
Even, confirming the most unqualified and dangerous nominees to high government posts, such as RFK Jr., who has wrought incalculable damage to to America's public health. This is, I keep saying we don't have the language
Right.
to describe what Donald Trump does. The English language fails us. We need somehow new terms to describe the hypocrisy and the enormous corruption.
I don't know. I think they're going to give him this money mostly because it's going to it plays into all of Trump's rhetoric that, the Department of Justice was always out to get him. He's always a victim. And if they are really Trump loyalists, I think he'll convince them to do it just for those reasons alone.
I can't contradict that. And let's also, again, I can't even use the word hypocrisy. It's not strong enough. At the very time he's accusing, these illegitimate investigations and indictments, which are not illegitimate at all, which were not pressured by President Biden, which were done by an independent counsel, not beholden to Biden. At the same time, what has he done? Demanded that the Justice Department prosecute his political enemies, and of course they've fallen right in line, particularly prosecuting former FBI head James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James on the most flimsy, according to the experts and according to my own reading it, charges that don't even come close to the legitimacy of the charges about Donald Trump mishandling national security documents. So, again, the hypocrisy is so thick you can cut it with a butter knife.
My prediction is that they're going to do it. They're going to give him the $230 million, and they won't announce it, but it'll leak. That's my prediction.
Leak, and I agree with you. They won't announce it.
What's your prediction? You don't have to make one. You don't have to.
I'd say it's 60-40 that they give it to him. Thanks for watching our video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and become a member today.